I definitely froze like freaking Elsa when I met Angela Yee. That was bad.
Wow.
But my friend was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "She's right there." She's like, "I know. Go say hi." I was like, What do I do with Angela Yee? But honestly, she's the only reason why I'm right here because of the advice that she gave me.
Wow.
So.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
What's going on, boss?
What's up, man?
You good?
Chilling.
Feeling
What's
good?
up with you?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling energized, you know? It's been a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
I've been trying to, just keep my spirits up. Keep
I
it
feel
pushing.
you. I feel you.
Trying to catch a vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For those of you first-time listeners, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the UpNUp Podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture, right?
Yep.
We do that by providing amazing stories of individuals, groups, movements, people who are out here really carving lanes, paving paths, you know what I mean? Like I said, kicking down doors, doing what they got to do, right? And making a way for not just themselves, but people coming behind them, right?
Sure.
Which is important. I definitely want to make sure, before we get the show on the road, I always want to shout out the consistent listeners, viewers, supporters. What do we call them over here, man?
Family,
We
man.
call them family, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the encouragement, the energy you've been giving us, the platform, all the things we're doing, but more importantly, the guests that we have on the show. They, they definitely appreciate it. And yeah, man, tap in with the guests, man. If you're listening and you want to learn a little bit more and you want to get acquainted with them, they're accessible, right? We'll give you the key. We'll give you their handles and all that stuff. You can go ahead and stalk them on IG, whatever you want to do. But yeah, thank you again for the support. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, you know what to do. You can find all the episodes on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can stream podcasts. Check us out. Just type in UpNUp Podcast, and that's where you can find it. Also, make sure, if you're not already following us, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms @_TheUpNUp to stay tapped in. We got a lot of great things to close out the year, right?
Oh, we got
I'm
a lot,
excited.
man.
I'm excited, man. Yeah, there's some things brewing right now. And so we're going to keep that going. Also, any announcements? Anything else?
Nah, not really.
This is 58.
58.
We got 60 on the way, right?
Coming up.
Listener Appreciation Week. So if this is your first time hearing about Listener Appreciation Week, essentially it's a chance for us to appreciate the listeners, right? Let you come up here and take over the show, right? You can do what you want, right? You can sit in my seat, sit in his seat.
You can sit in his seat.
Yeah,
it's all good.
No, you ain't sitting in my seat. But yeah, Listener Appreciation Week, a chance for us to appreciate you, the listener, episode 60. But if you do want to get a chance to come up here and take over the show, all you got to do is submit to @_TheUpNUp what your favorite episode was and tell us why. And we'll pick a winner, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get it rocking. Now, like I said, this show is to provide context, right? And we understand nothing's overnight. People put in a lot of work to get to where they're at, and sometimes it's presented as just like a snapshot, and there's so much more context to it, and that's what we're here to provide. And today's guest, I would say, definitely is a woman who's very much carving out her own lane throughout the world of media here in the Northwest region as well as beyond. But she's doing it her way, which is dope.
Yeah.
There's a unique way about it. I would say she's definitely a hardworking culture cultivator who's keeping everything she's doing on the up and up, right? Obviously, otherwise she wouldn't be in the building with us, right? Kicking it. Yeah, right. To give you some insight on the work she's been doing, she's mostly known in the city as one of the leading voices, I would say, in Seattle for Seattle's #1 station for hip hop, KUBE 93. Right, where you can find her and catch her every night from 7 to midnight. Am I correct? Yep, Monday through Saturdays, right?
Yeah.
Tune in, turn that dial, right? KUBE 93.3. But if that's not enough, she's also a host of her own podcast, Back to Besa podcast, right? So make sure you tap in with that. Gives her just another, another angle of being able to just, get a deep dive into people's stories and whatnot, which is dope. Another storytelling platform, which I love. I love seeing those out here. But also, she's also extended her platform to do things in the city for those who are coming up, aspiring to be creative and get into the media realm by putting on Seattle Media Mixers, which I'm very excited to get a little bit more insight on as well. Let's just get straight to it, though, man. I'm excited. This is a long time coming. And I'm excited to present our guest is none other than the culture crafter herself, Besa. Can we get a round of applause?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
You like that one?
I like that.
Okay. That was a new one. That was a new one.
I don't get many new ones.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm tired.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Tired?
Hey.
I'm always tired, man.
Tired with a smile. That's how you do it.
That's how you know you're working.
I also smoke a lot of weed.
Nah, but thank you for coming to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you and the work you're doing as well. If you're not familiar, we usually start the show off with a quote of the day, right? Something to get the vibe right, get the mood right.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, so.
What's today's vibe?
No, go ahead. I don't get to tell the quotes on the show.
I almost gave it to you today, too. That's the cool part.
I don't never get to tell the quotes. One day.
It's all good. One day. So the quote of the day today is, I truly believe that building bridges, not building walls, and not giving into fear will make our communities better.
I concur.
Yeah.
Who's that? Who was that by?
Charles Barkley.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's out of left field right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Nah, that was
I was going to build it up, too, before I told you who it was.
Now I'm hearing it in Charles Barkley's voice. It's like, okay.
You want me to do it in his voice? No, I'm about to do that. But
can you run that back one more time?
I got you. So the quote is, I truly believe that building bridges, not building walls, and not giving into fear will make our communities better. Yeah.
Go ahead, Charles.
Come on,
Go
Sir
ahead,
Charles.
Sir Charles, man.
Yeah.
Where are these quotes on the TNT halftime show? I don't be hearing nothing like this.
Yeah. No way it's on the
He
inside.
saves that for Twitter.
Right? Literally, where nobody sees it.
Maybe it's Facebook.
He drops it at like 3 a.m. No one's checking for it. But anyway, we bring in the quotes because obviously they get the conversation started, but it's also something to tie in to our guests and what they're doing. And, you do a lot, right? And I think that quote's perfect. Yeah, you do.
You do. Yeah.
You just said you're tired, right?
I am.
But the quote talks about building bridges, which I think you definitely do a lot of through all your avenues and what you're doing. But on this show, we definitely want to take it back and give people a real inside look behind the curtain. So let's take it back to kind of like your upbringing. Where did you grow up?
Here.
Seattle raised?
I'm born and raised in Seattle. Grew up in the CD, 19th and Cherry. What's good?
Yeah.
Graduated from Cleveland High School. Heck, I went to John Muir Elementary.
Wow.
Went to Meady Middle School. Went to Mercer Middle School. Like, I'm just straight Seattle normal girl.
Yeah.
Never lived anywhere. Like, I flew to the East Coast for the first time this year in March.
Oh,
And I
wow.
still had my boot on in case anybody was wondering. I broke my foot in January. Yeah. So I'm like hobbling around New York for the first time. Like I don't really leave the city.
It's a shock, right?
Yeah, it was weird. Like some lady grabbed her purse and I'm like, ma'am, I'm hobbling. Like, what are you doing? Like that was a
can't get
moment
away,
where I was like, I'm definitely not in Seattle anymore because that never happens here.
That's dope.
Damn.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. I mean, like growing up out here, I feel like everybody, even if you grew up in the same place as someone, we all have different experiences and
absolutely.
how we were raised and shaped. But for you, I guess, what were some things that kind of helped propel you as you were growing up out here to want to do more and want to stay, active and really just striving for more?
I get bored really easy. And sometimes I'll see something and I'm like, oh, this would be better if it was like that. So I just do it myself. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I would rather not tell someone how to fix something. And if I'm like, this is cute, but I would do it that way. And if I'm that interested in it, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
And then I run with it. And
I like that.
We see what
Yeah.
happens afterwards. And if
Yeah.
I don't like it, then I stop doing it. But if I do like it, I just perfect it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's what's up.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
From a critic to
For
a
real.
creator.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things you were kind of interested in as you were growing up?
You know what's funny? I always have this joke, but it's true. I learned Photoshop when I was in 5th grade. So when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I'll do radiology like my aunt. And then I was like, I don't want to touch nasty body parts. Like, you just got out of a car accident, your arm is hanging. I'm good.
Yeah.
So then I was going to do psychology, and I was like, I really don't care about other people's business that much in terms of a way of you draining me every day. So I remembered that I had already known how to do things on Blogspot, and I was already kind of tinkering around with WordPress because I had a blog back then, which was another moment of me seeing someone else's blog and being like, oh, I would do it this way. So then I ended up blogging, but I didn't want to pay someone to do my website, so I was like, let's figure this thing out. And I just started playing around with codes, and I taught myself how to do web design. So went to school for web design.
Nice.
In doing that, I was able to create a podcast, which is how I ended up getting on Go Juice Radio. So that kind of like started my whole thing of like radio and media interest, if you will.
That's interesting because I feel like sometimes people know at a young age what it is they want to do and go for it, and then sometimes you, like you said, you just kind of find it along the way. But to be on the radio, right, or to be someone who uses their voice frequently, right, not just on radio, you do other events and things like that. Were you always outspoken as a child, or were you more reserved? Like, where did that come from?
I was outspoken until my family told me I was talking too much. So I would speak, and then sometimes I would get yelled at. Yeah, because I again, I'm a people watcher. So it's like on Back to Besa, sometimes I'll like do 9 randoms, and one of the random questions is, are you a people watcher? And it's interesting when people say yes, and some people say no. Some people are like, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but
you
like,
can do what you want.
Good. They can be like, oh, I could give a shit about what this person is doing. I'm like, no, I'm that person that wears sunglasses. I've been wearing sunglasses since I want to say like 6th or 7th grade, just because I would be on the bus and everybody would always be looking at me, and then I was like, I kind of want to see what other people are doing, so I wear my glasses, and then I was just kind of able to notice just different ways that people are, and it made it to where I could understand certain things of my family, and then they would try me, and then I wouldn't, leave me alone, say you ain't gonna, and then I tell them about themselves, and all of a sudden it's like, that was me, didn't nobody tell you to come bothering me? Like, I was here in my own little thought, minding my own business, but since you want to bother me, now I gotta tell you about yourself. But that's because I'm a people watcher.
I've been studying.
So, I just kind of like watch people for the most part. So did I talk? Yeah, but not that much. Like, I talk to my friends, but it's kind of like on and off.
But I mean, I think the observant, element is just as important as a talking element.
Oh yeah.
Right? And working in media and being on radio, like, you got to know what's what. You got to pay attention.
Absolutely.
And you got to be intentional about what it is the audience you're tending to. Right? So that's dope. I like that. For sure.
Yeah.
So what were some of like the early, I would say, like roles or positions that you were in, like, I guess within radio and media?
So I want to say, it was years ago. I started at C-Spot as like one of Kunlev's bloggers.
Okay.
Started working with him for a few years, and then that's kind of how I got my footing out here. Like, aside from the blog that I already had, it just gave me like a little extra credibility to be like, oh yeah, I work with Kunlev. You should let me in your club for free. So
was C-Spot more so like music focused, or was it also just kind of just
It
Seattle
was a little
culture?
bit of both. It was more so Seattle culture, which made it to where if there was like a local artist or a concert going on, I could go in and go to the show and take pictures and stuff like that. So it kind of just created a small relationship with me and the community, but I just also liked going to different shows, so it made it to where it kind of became more music based, just because I'm like, oh, what do you want me to blog about? Whatever you want. Okay. Someone dropped a new song, I'm gonna blog that. Someone did a new music video, I'm gonna blog that. Oh, this restaurant has good food, I'm gonna blog that. This club was trash, I'm gonna talk about that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that got started, if you will. And then, I kind of like fumbled back and forth, did YouTube, did Go Juice Radio, got in a trash relationship, came back to Seattle, and basically started working at iHeartMedia on the street team. Maneuvered my way to where I am now.
I like that though, because I like that you asked that question too, because what we try to provide for the listeners and viewers is like a real inside look on what it takes, right? Sometimes people have a vision for how they see themselves.
You're looking at 10 years. I started with Kun before I was even allowed to drink.
Wow.
Like, I was I'm 30 now. I just turned 30 last month. I was 20. So yeah, this is literally like my 10 year.
Yeah.
So I was in there one day and I was like, oh, I want to drink. And he's like, your birthday is when?
Yeah, for real.
Talk to me in a couple months. Like he was not here for that. So yeah, I've been out here since I was 19, 20.
Yeah. But you trust the process along the way. That's what I've learned.
You have to.
Yeah. And I see that in kind of your journey, the way you explain it is like you don't know where this may end up or where it will go, but you want to keep learning and growing. And I think that's what people need to understand when they're going for something, regardless of the industry you're in. You know what I mean? Because you're going to get some doors closed on you, right? You might get in a position and it might turn out being what you thought. It might not be what you thought it was. And so I think that's a testament to that for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Like I don't know, like sometimes you'll think you want something and then you get it and then you're like, or you think you want something and then you don't get it and then you kind of really see how it pans out and you're like, you know what, actually I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So you just kind of really always got to trust the process and kind of have a mental plan and, little goals that you're checking off as you're moving through life.
I like that. It's a constant journey. Now, when you get to KUBE, right? KUBE 93. For those who aren't familiar, KUBE 93 is
KUBE 93.3. There's an extra 3 on there now.
Yeah, that was my childhood.
Yeah, I mean, if you grew up out here, that was the staple hip hop station, you know, and still is, right? So, when you get there, you say you started out working the street team to work your way up the ranks. What was that like? What was that like getting there? Like, did you feel like you arrived, or was it like, damn, I gotta climb up this ladder now?
It was weird, cause like I said, I started on the street team, so I'm like standing under tents like everybody else for a couple years, and then I was like, no shade to anyone that's doing this, but I was like, this is for the birds. It's cold. I don't like my skin doesn't like sunlight. Like it's still recovering from the summertime. Like I get sick really easy, and we got to be outside sometimes in the mountains. Wild Waves used to do this lights event, and you're outside at 8 o'clock at night, and it's freaking 30 degrees, and you got to be out there for like 3-4 hours. So I was like, this is for the birds. I don't have time for this. I offer so much more to this company than standing underneath the damn tent and being like, hey, do you want this sticker? Like, this is cool. I'm in the building. Now what? So once I decided now what, I didn't really see any opportunity for KUBE at that time because it was gone. At this time, KUBE was switched to Power 93.3.
Okay,
so it was pop.
This is after the transition.
Yeah, people don't. I was here the whole damn time. I was here when it was KUBE 93 and it was that box logo, and then I was here when they took it away and moved it to Tacoma, and it was Power 93. I was here when it was gone. Like I was here the whole time.
Can you give those people who aren't familiar with kind of the radio industry like why that came about? Was
Honestly,
it more of a program?
I don't know. I think it was a programming thing. I know that there was something about listeners being more on the south side.
Yeah.
It was.
I
don't know.
heard
I
too.
think it was like a big experiment, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We see where we are now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was still street team, so it's not like I was able to really ask anybody what was going on. It was literally all hearsay. So I don't have like a real answer.
I mean, I think it's dope though, cause you knew what you wanted, like pretty quickly. Like when you're on the street team, like there's probably some people out there that'll take that position and kind of takes them a little while to figure out what they want. You know, I mean, I feel like it's an advantage when you figure it out pretty fast, because then you know where you're trying to go.
You create a course of action, and once you create that course of action, you have to be willing to react. You know what I mean? I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get put in that position and they don't take the advantage. They want to be like,
exactly.
oh, I don't want to bother this person.
Yeah.
Fuck that. You know, when people
piss some people off, man. You got to.
I piss a lot of people off, and I could give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, my bosses like me. You don't have to. Period.
Yeah.
You know, like, my numbers are good, so what's up?
Yeah.
You don't have to like me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I would still be on the street team, working in the office. Like I left the street team like working outside a couple years ago, and I was able to be in the office only.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll be a paper pusher as long as I'm inside with air conditioning. It's 90 degrees outside. I'm still sipping tea because it's cold. Like, you know what I mean? So I literally just asked the assistant director at the time. He's now the actual program director of KUBE. He was like in the studio. I literally knocked on it one day. Never met the man. No one had ever introduced me to him. And I was like, hi, my name is Besa. I'm on the street team. You know, sorry to bother you. How do I get on Cube?
Yeah.
Like,
for real, yeah.
Like, I just blurted it out there like
Yeah.
that, and it was like, well, whatever he says, I don't know, but
Yeah.
we're gonna go
Shoot
from
your
here.
shot.
Literally.
Gotcha.
Shoot your shot.
And he was like, I like that, because apparently he started from the street team. So to see someone that's actually from here,
Yeah.
actually grew up on the station, to take the initiative to be like, how do I get on the radio? He liked that. So he started teaching me how to do what's called segging. So basically, for those of you that don't know, it's like editing your music so that things don't crash together, which every once in a while it does, and you guys always tweet us about it. No, like seriously. People are like on it. They're like, that's 2 songs playing at once. We know. Sorry. Like, dang.
It happens. It's
It
a mix.
happens. We're human, you
Yeah,
know?
sure.
But yeah, he started teaching me how to do that, and I would like seg all the shows. And in doing that, I started sending in my air checks, but I didn't know how to record in the studio. So then I had to take the other initiative of being in the building and find another radio host to teach me, because I don't have time to have him teach me.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
that's retarded.
Yeah.
Oh, I want a job. Okay, send me an air check. Can you show me how to do it?
Yeah.
Nobody got time for
Yeah.
that.
Oh, what's
They
an air
don't.
check, right?
That was my other question, and I
Yeah.
still had to figure that
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But there's just certain things where you're just like, okay, and then you go figure it out. And
Yeah,
so that's
I
what
like
I
that.
did. I talked to Matt Case, who's on like a different radio station, like one of our sister stations.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me how to do some stuff. I talked to Zan. She's on KISS. She
Mm-hmm.
showed me how to do stuff. Sent in my air checks. Kept sending them in for a few months. Kept doing my segging.
Yeah.
Got overnights. Did
Yeah.
well on overnights.
Yeah.
Got Sunday evenings. Did well with that. And hi.
Hey.
Base at nights here.
That's lit though, because I also want to get into like when you were on the street team and you knew you wanted more.
Yeah.
People sometimes are in those positions, right, where they're like, man, I'm more than this, or I have more potential than this, right? And you don't know when that opportunity will come. But
no.
in the meantime, you still got to keep your craft sharp. You still got to be, you know what I mean? It's like the guy who ain't in the NBA, but he's still in the gym every day working out, right? What did you kind of do to stay sharp so that when that opportunity came, you were like, yo, I know I can still be on the radio. I know I can still be a personality. I can still do this.
Honestly, I didn't, at that time, there was no opportunity for that.
Okay.
Cube wasn't even there.
Okay.
So I want to say when I was still in the office, I was trying to be full-time in the office than doing something else.
Gotcha.
Whether it was like a promotions director or
Yeah.
like something that they created for me,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is kind of what they started doing for me after like, I want to say it was like about 2 years after I was in the office for 2 years. And for those 2 years that I was in the office, they did nothing but basically create different little jobs for me to do that actually made sense for me.
Gotcha.
To where eventually I was just doing social media and I was still a promotions assistant, but I was
Yeah.
like half digital, and that was all that I did. Just, They
Yeah.
were like, oh, well, she already knows how to do it, so here. And I was like, all right.
We got a new title for you.
You know, like basically. So there wasn't actually always opportunities, but I felt like I'm here. I can do something
Yeah,
with
stay
it. So
challenged.
I'm already here. There's a reason why I'm here. And I couldn't find another job anywhere else. So I was like, there's a reason. And then
Yeah.
when Cube finally came back, I was like, oh, say less.
Yeah, we here. We ready.
Universe, man.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
figure
yeah.
this out.
That's so dope.
Dope. So what were like some of the like most valuable lessons you probably learned like through your whole journey to where you are right now?
Don't tell everybody your goals. Study. Pay attention.
That's real.
Ask questions. Remember the answers that you get when you ask those damn questions. And just be consistent. You know, I think a lot of people don't always want to go talk to their bosses. Like, I was the one where I would write full-on emails on my boss about things that I thought could be better and how they could be better. And I'm like, if you guys don't have time to do this, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that I can do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I would, you know, just find different reasons for me to be in the office and just kind of keep myself busy to where I'm sharpening my own axe. You know, I'm taking like marketing classes outside. I'm looking up things about how to market yourself on Instagram and
That's
how
real.
to do Facebook ads. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sharpening my axe, if you will, on how to do graphics and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just constantly trying to do more things to make myself more valuable. So that way, if I did leave there,
Yeah.
okay, this is all the stuff I've done
Yeah.
for this company.
I've gained.
So after a while, when Cube wasn't there, it wasn't really about being on the radio as much. It was more so about, okay, let me build my resume while I'm here and continue to sit inside at my desk.
Yeah.
I love that mentality
For
because
real.
I think that's That's like that's how I feel. I feel like no matter where I'm placed, I still have to grow.
Yeah.
Right? No matter where I'm at, right? So like it's kind of like your job doesn't define who you are.
Period.
Right? So it's like no matter what role, what title they may give you, it shouldn't define you, right?
Yeah.
What defines you is your work ethic and what you want for yourself, right? What's in your head. So I think that's what I kind of get from that is like you knew what you kind of wanted to do and you wanted to just kind of keep crafting.
Yeah.
Keep crafting as as the opportunity was waiting for you.
I get really depressed when I don't have a plan. So like I always have
Yeah.
like a mental direction of something that I want to do.
Yeah.
But trust me, I was applying for a whole bunch of jobs, and then once Cube finally popped up, I was like, okay, let me try to take my stab at this. If this doesn't work, I'm just gonna quit my whole goddamn job and start over somewhere else. I don't know. I was like,
feel you.
I was like about to move out of state at one point
Yeah.
until Cube came back, and then I was like talking to this dude, and he was like, "Are you still gonna move down here?" I was like, no. He's like, why? You don't even have the position. I was like, yeah, but I'd rather not try. I'm like, at the end of the day, this is my hometown.
Yeah.
It's going to be way easier for me to get on here than
Yeah.
it will be if I come down there to Philly
Exactly.
with you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
try to figure it out in a
Yeah.
city that I don't even,
It's like starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I didn't want that.
I feel that because there's like you kind of put it in your head that this is not the finish line. Like like anywhere you are in your life or career wise or whatever. So it always pushes you to kind of do more. That's where I'm kind of getting from it. That's pretty dope. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a way that we should all think.
Yeah.
It'll keep us like doing our thing.
Yeah.
you know?
Like, I love where I'm at, but this isn't my finish line. I still have so
Yeah,
much more to
that's
do.
what I'm
It's
saying.
like, okay, I
Yeah.
love my
You
night
got
show.
it. Like
Now I
that.
gotta make it #1. Now I
Yeah.
gotta make it to where another city wants to move me out. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
You gotta get
Yeah.
the big, like, there's just always different levels.
I got something on my vision board. Is like, can I do more? Right? It's like a question, and it's like you
Like-
might be
Yeah.
overwhelmed. You might have so much on your plate, but it's like you still look at that. You got to ask yourself that question. At some point. Now, I'm glad you mentioned how when you brought your boss ideas. One thing you said was you kind of had thought about it and you thoroughly had a plan, right? Can you talk about the importance of like really backing up your ideas and actually meditating on them? Because sometimes people will kick ideas and push them out there, and like if comes to me, he's like, yo, I got an idea. Like, I'm going to hope he had meditated on it, sat on it, thought about it. And he has some real reasoning behind it, an intention behind it, as opposed to like, yo, I think I could do this. So for you to jump out and do that, I think it speaks to that. But can you talk about why that's important?
I think it's important because you don't want to be that person that's just always throwing out ideas and you don't ever do shit with them.
Got him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your bosses will
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
And they take note of that. Like it got to the point where my bosses would basically just tell me like, yeah, this person this person that, and it's like it makes sense if you're coming in here saying, oh, we should do this, but you're not the one that's gonna do it. Anybody
Yeah.
can be like, oh, that's dirty. Okay, you're gonna clean it up.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
So I just really think that people have to get, and I even have to do this. I mean, if it's my friends, yeah, I'm gonna like just tell my friends, oh yeah, this is my idea. But if it's like a business partner and we're having a meeting, like, okay, did you think about this? Because if
Yeah.
I ask you 2 questions and it doesn't make any sense, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, so did you think about that on your way here
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But you could tell who cares. Like, you gotta care about it. It's like really at the end of the day, right? You gotta like
Yeah.
really be passionate about whatever it is you're putting.
Sometimes.
Because someone might be picking you apart, but you might like strongly have a belief in it. I like
Yeah.
seeing people with that at least. At least like someone who's willing to fight for the ideas.
Yeah.
Is important too. Like, you might not have it all the way figured out, but if you're willing to fight
Yeah.
for it, it's like this person really cares, and that you want people like that too.
I mean,
somewhat.
it makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, you would never think someone like myself that started on the street team, did overnights, and now I literally took Bootleg Kev's spot. He was the night
Wow.
show.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he wasn't here.
And that's bootleg Kev from
from LA.
Okay.
So he had the night show spot, and they swapped him for me.
Wow.
And you would never think that someone that started on overnights
Yeah.
that I did some podcast stuff.
Yeah,
I did some.
yeah.
I never did radio. Like, I had no
Yeah.
freaking radio training, So it's like, it was kind of like a crazy idea that I had that people would be like, you're not going to be on the radio. But then they would talk to me and be like, you have the radio voice, but I don't see how it's going to work. And everybody was always telling me, you want a daytime spot, you're going to have to leave the city. I was like, the fuck I am. And I would literally say that. And they're
Yeah.
just like, no, seriously. And I'm just like, I don't want to. And because I don't want to, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And if I want my start to be here, it's going to be here.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm a big manifester. You know what I mean?
Speak into the universe.
Like, for the longest on my board, it said, I'm the morning show host of KUBE 93.3. Well, the joke on me was that I became the morning show host, but it was 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So,
Oh, man. So, yeah.
So when I swapped it to I'm the night show host, now this is where I'm at.
Wow.
It's like, I feel like if you look at it all the time, you think on it, and you work towards it, like, I'm really big on The Secret and, 48 Laws of Power and Art of Seduction. Like,
Yeah.
and I tell people, if it's too long for you, I'm dyslexic. I didn't read that shit. I have Audible.
Yeah, the audiobooks.
There you go.
I got like so many audibles, and for me it's just easier to retain it because I can just like rewind it rather than reading a page over and over and over again because I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm trying to get through the information and not be frustrated because I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
So, I think that a lot of people would behoove themselves, if you will, if they read more.
Yeah, but that's real though. You gotta visualize it.
Yeah.
And I talked to the homie about this the other day, where it's like you kind of have to like live in the future while you're in the present, right? Like in your head though, like you kind of have to play the scenario out in your head over and over again, right? Like I'm like, oh, we're gonna have Besa on the podcast. I'm envisioning her sitting here, like even though it was probably like last week or whatever, right? So it's like you just keep thinking about it, and when you get to that point, it doesn't become unfamiliar, right? So and then it allows you to just focus on doing the task at hand, right? So when you get that radio slot, it's not like, oh, I made it. It's like, no, I've been.
This was gonna happen. I just didn't know
this
when.
is kind of normal, like, you know what I'm saying?
This was my vision.
It's real.
I was watching something and someone was like, "I'm sorry, that doesn't go with my fantasy," and I was like, "Seriously though, like that's how I think. If it doesn't go with my fantasy,
Your thoughts
that's not
are real,
gonna
man.
be,
People's
it's not gonna
thoughts
be how
are
it
real.
works." But
I
yeah,
feel you. And it's like you're like prepared for that moment when you get there. It's not like you're like, oh, fumbling or it's like trying to figure it, I mean, you're still figuring it out, but it's like
I was
you're
fumbling,
awake.
but
But I'm saying like you're prepared for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you already know like what lays ahead in a way,
you at least know that it's coming. Like
Exactly.
nothing that I've gotten thus far radio wise, I ever knew that it was coming.
Wow.
Like they all just was like, "Hey, come in," and then all of a sudden it's like, "All right, so the reason why I want to do this is because," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh, the reason why I want to call you in here is like there was never like a build up moment. It was more so of a, I don't know if you guys like are into energies or something like that, but I'm really big into energies.
I am too.
As you see, I have you can't see them, but this is my third eye crystal.
Okay.
So, and this is like citrine. Anyways, I will notice that like the energy is a little different in the building. And it's not that anyone is acting necessarily different, but I feel that there's a weird shift going on, and it drives me crazy for about 2 weeks. And even before I got offered the night show, I was telling one of my friends, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but something's weird. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. Energy is weird. I'm feeling a little frantic. Something's about to happen, and stay tuned.
Wow.
And something happened within like 2 days. So it's just,
and
I was feeling it for like a week. It was weird. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, but I done created something and I'm here for it. But we'll see what it is. And when I got it, I was like, what about Kev?
Damn.
That's real. That's real though. That's real.
It works.
I like that. And it sounds like a real organic just climb to success and like really and I think that's what we really want people who are listening and watching to understand. It's like there's no right way to do it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be present, man. You got to learn. You got to grow along the way. And I do want to get into you finally getting that slot, right? Those nights, and having that platform is a responsibility. I would assume, right?
I learned that recently.
And so let's talk about that a little bit. Like, did you feel a little bit more sense of responsibility with how you use your voice? Because before it was like, yeah, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. When you get there, you're like, okay, I gotta really be that now.
It really wasn't more so me. It was more so of everyone else. Like, not everyone in the office, but like people on Facebook and people on Twitter, and like people trying to come in me at my comments talking crazy. I know you don't think that just because I'm on the radio at 7 p.m., I still will not properly check you.
Yeah.
I will smooth cuss you out and delete it if need be. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, people are just a little more disrespectful. They're a little more out there. and they're a little more like, well, you're this person and you should. No, I am still Besa. You will still respect me, and that is still that. Like, I don't know. I understand that if I say something, it does hold more weight.
Yeah.
But because of the way that I've gotten to where I have, like,
Yeah.
I technically didn't even apply for this job. I
Yeah.
asked
Yeah.
for it and I worked for it.
Yeah.
So it made it to where I still feel like I am still me.
Mm.
I just happen to talk
You
to a
didn't have
bunch of people.
you didn't have to compromise your character.
Yeah,
and
like
who
I'm
you
still
are to get it.
me.
Yeah.
Like everything that I've done before, I'm just doing it on a higher scale.
I like
So
that.
it's
Yeah.
like I don't know what would
People
be
expected it, yeah,
different.
yeah.
like there's nothing different. If anything, you're just gonna see me more. Like what?
Yeah.
And
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
people sometimes they don't really know your intention anyway. Like for
Yeah.
why you do what you do and how you do what you do. You know?
And some people just don't know that I've been out here for 10 years. So then, there's also this new group of people that literally just see me as the radio host because they don't know me before being on the radio. So it's like dealing with those people, dealing with people when I'm in the club that don't know me, and then dealing with the people that do know me and see me a little different. It's just a weird balance.
Yeah.
I
Can't
didn't.
please everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. I learned that when I did my little top 10 list. That was interesting.
You did a top 10 list.
Yeah.
Like top 10 what? Artists?
So
I want to hear about this.
this is what happened.
I wasn't on the list obviously, so.
I think that you guys are on my podcast one. I don't know if I knew you guys. Yet
Oh,
or not.
what?
I have a podcast list. I don't know if you guys are on that one, but that was before this list that I did a couple weeks ago.
dope.
I did a list where it was top 10 artists in Seattle, Tacoma that you should know about.
Okay.
That shit. People were in their feelings. Somebody went in my literally in my comments and was like, "You guys can keep trying to pay Besa to play your music. I'm good off her. I'm about to block her from now on. Her career is only gonna last a year anyways." I was like, "Well, I'm already within a year, so I mean, we're going on year 2.
Yeah.
What you talking about, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go away." Like, my list was very balanced, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And
It's your opinion.
it was like a very small amount of people that didn't like it.
Yeah.
But the fact that I didn't tag anybody in it,
Mm-hmm.
I literally just posted the link quietly on my Facebook and said, I normally don't do lists, and then I just shared it, and I didn't share it on anybody.
Like, it's not fair. Like, why can't I make a list and no one cares? But then so it's like, I get it because you're on the platform, but it's like,
See, I didn't
it's opinionated, man. It's a
I
subjective.
didn't think people would really care.
Oh, clearly they do.
And that was my moment where I was like, okay, people do care more because I've done lists before. And they was
Yeah.
like, I did this list now. So I was like, whoa, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You guys actually pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize that people are really paying attention to what's going on
That's
until
true.
you do something that they either really, really like or really, really don't like. So, yeah.
Damn. So
But I still could give a shit. I'm gonna do it every year now because it pisses people off.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I'm gonna do another one next November. It's gonna be annual.
Hell yeah. Keep coming.
How do you so obviously, some people, if they see comments or see pretty much they see comments that they don't really rock with, but like how do you still stay in
Depends
the
on how
format
much
of your
time
show?
I have.
Yeah. Like, how do you
every
not
once
let
in a
that
while,
sway you?
I have
you know?
time.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I have time, and I will respond accordingly.
Today I got time.
Like,
Yeah.
no, like every once in a while, I'll be like, you know what? I got time today. It's Sunday. You got me fucked up. And it goes down.
They just don't know it's coming.
It goes down. And, then they end up sending me a DM. I'm sorry. Don't come at me like that.
Yeah, be respectful. Be respectful. You know what I
Like,
mean?
I'm still me. I'm still
Yeah.
human. I have
Yeah.
feelings. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to come crazy, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if at least just stay on topic. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna give some criticism and feedback, like talk about the list. Don't talk about you. Don't talk about the person. If you don't know the person, you know what I'm saying? Just keep it civilized. Keep it respectful.
Yeah, people
That's all that matters.
like to get a little spicy every once in a while.
To make their
Somebody
point.
said, "Oh yeah, she I don't really think that she's really for the community like that." And somebody like tagged me and then I'm like in the comments now and they're like, "Well, I wasn't talking to you. You were talking about me and someone tagged me, so now I have something to say."
Yeah.
No, that's,
You know what
that's
I
real.
mean?
You got to defend yourself too. You got to stand up for yourself and speak for yourself.
I just think that people forget that I'm actually here. And
That's real.
I'm here,
That's
so
true.
I will be present
That's true.
at all times.
Well, since you brought it up, for those who think you don't have the community in mind, I want to get into the Seattle Media Mixers, which
Come back in 2020.
which you put on and actually put together with? I know, was it just you or did you
Just
have
me.
Okay.
Well, it's me and DJ Fresh Pharaoh.
Okay.
But it's really just me. He's literally like the
Yeah.
DJ.
So can you explain to those who don't know, because obviously, like you said, they're still going on. They'll still be coming in 2020. What is a Seattle media mixer, and how would you describe what? Like,
How would I describe it? So it's literally a mixer that I typically do once a month. I'm thinking about changing venues. I haven't fully decided yet, and that's why there wasn't one last month or this month.
Okay.
And the goal is to bring together different people in media and kind of teach them things that I feel you might learn in Bellevue, whether it's how to use your social media, whether it's how to get scholarships and grants, or, the first one I did was Podcasting 101. Then we did, what was the second one? I don't remember what the second one was, but I know the last one was how to get sponsorships.
Yep.
And that one was really, really good. Oh, the second one was Marketing 101. So it's like doing little classes like that for people that are in media just to kind of sharpen those axes. Like I felt, again, this is another moment of me seeing things and being like, I'm just going to do something about it. I feel like some people have really trash marketing skills. I feel like some people have really trash social medias. They have really trash graphics. They have horrible headshots. It's just a lot of just badness going on. And unfortunately, you're laughing, but I'm dead ass. And I just really feel like they're unfortunately surrounded by a lot of people that just don't know either. So then they think it's dope. They think, oh yeah, you got your name on a photo with you sitting on some they think it's dope, and
It's
then
like
they praise them for that.
They praise the bare minimum.
Because they don't know no better.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you're around people that don't know any better. You don't know any better. So everyone's colliding with this fuck brain shit.
Yeah.
And no one's telling you that it's bad.
Yeah.
No one's telling you how it can be improved or who to go to or where to go. Just nothing, because you don't know. So I decided, now that I'm on the radio and I have an easier platform for people to see me, okay, well, let me help out people that look like me. So that way you're not looking crazy. Now, if you come to my event and then leave my event and still look crazy, I at least did my part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's up to you to retain things, take notes, video, ask questions, whatever. But this jankiness has to stop.
Yeah, and another part of
Stop.
the mixer, which I like, because I attended one of them, was aside from the information people can gain, it's also a chance for people to connect and network.
Oh, it's literally a mixer,
which I love, because it was like there's people there that I had met, and I was like, oh shit, like I didn't know you did this, and I had reconnected with people that I haven't seen in like 2 years.
Yeah,
and I seen them before they started doing what they were doing in their profession, and when we had reconnected, they were like out of here, like doing their thing. I'm like, damn. So it's definitely dope to also unify the community as well.
Yeah, it's nice. I have people wear their name tags. To the point where at first I was like, are people even gonna want to wear these? But no, people will like find me and be like, hey, you have the name tags? I don't have a name tag. And it's like, oh, you guys actually want these name tags? That's kind of cool. And in the last couple, or at least in this last one, I now have people come up and they can introduce themselves.
Yeah, that was dope.
Say what they do or just whatever they offer, which kind of broke the ice to where people are like, oh, you do this, you do that, and da-da-da-da. So, I'm just trying to create more of a togetherness with the media community, because I feel like a lot of people in media, we're just so spread out. We're everywhere, and it makes it to where you can be in the same room as someone and just not know who it is.
Yeah.
So doing this just kind of creates a nice little, and there's a lot of people that have been working together since coming to these things. So
Facts.
I definitely can't wait to bring it back in 2020, because people, like last month, I didn't mention that I wasn't doing one, and some people actually still went down there. So it's definitely lets me know if there's a need for it, even if I'm like redoing topics and just bringing in more people. But
that's dope.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to be done again, and the vibe is definitely needed for this city.
Exactly.
Definitely. I think especially like you were saying, like us being in media, sometimes we're working on our craft so tough that we just don't even it's kind of like we got tunnel vision almost. So to have a mixer like that is it's very powerful, because we could be like, oh damn, we kind of sit back and really see everybody's work, So
it's hard to keep up, man, when you're trying to do your thing too,
Yeah.
So it's important.
Or look down at the people, not down at the people, but like the people that are like, oh, help me, how do I do this, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And I just feel like so many people have so many questions, and unfortunately, judge me if you want, but some people really want to hear things from people that look like them. And being that I am African American, it makes it to where I purposely put my face on the flyer, so that way if you don't know me, like not everybody knows I'm on the freaking radio, not everybody listens to Cube, so I can't assume that you're gonna know just because I put Besa on the flyer that it's my black ass that's gonna be doing it.
Sure.
So I purposely always put my photo on the flyer. I like to put like a little background photo of the event, so that way people can see who's there, and then when you scroll through it on my Instagram, you'll see a bunch of people that look like you. You'll see a couple sprinkles, but I want for people to know that this is basically a media mixer for black professionals. It doesn't mean that you have to be black to come.
No, for sure.
It just means that this is a moment for me to help out my people.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And I commend that for sure. We commend that. And, you know, obviously if there's anything we can do to help, you know what I mean?
Spread the
aside
word.
from pulling up and doing
This
our
is
thing there.
helpful also.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, and if you're listening and, you know, if you're, because trust me, there's a lot of people who are aspiring to, you know, whether it's start a podcast, do their own thing, man. Like, you need to have moments like that where you can go and put the ego aside. Actually learn some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ask questions. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. So that's dope. I did want to ask you this question since you are on the radio, and I'm sure you obviously get a chance to be in the presence of, you know, high profile people here and there. Have you ever like been in front of someone and kind of fanned out when you have to interview them or like be professional? Because, you know, I mean, like there's certain people, you know.
Yes.
I feel like if I met Kobe Bryant, like
I
I'd
didn't
fan out for a little bit before
bad.
I chopped it up with the homie, you know.
I fanned out in my head, but nothing that anyone. That's a damn lie. I definitely froze like freaking Elsa when I met Angela Yee. That was bad.
Wow.
But my friend was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "She's right there." She's like, "I know. Go say hi." I was like, "What do I do with Angela Yee?" But honestly, she's the only reason why I'm right here because of the advice that she gave me.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing.
I lightweight fanned out when I met Lizzo. That was a weird one. Like, I was like, it's fucking Lizzo.
Yeah. You have those moments, man, you know.
Fucking Lizzo.
Yeah.
She's right here. So, yeah, that would probably be the only 2 times that I found out.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. But I asked that because it's like, I think it's dope to be able to appreciate people for what they do, but also understand what you do and why you're there in that same room with them, you know, and handle your business, right? So that's dope. And then I was also curious because, you know, you're on the radio a lot, and you know, me and this guy know what it takes to like put energy out, right, through the mic. It's not just talking, like you're putting energy out there. And even back in our college days, like there'd be nights where we're like, God damn, I don't want to do this right now, bro. But we have to, you know. How do you? What are some tips, right, for people who are probably in that position or want to get in that position, to keep yourself enthused and energized on days where it's just like, yo, I don't really want to be the, you know, energetic radio host right now. You know?
I just do it.
Yeah.
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 I just get like yesterday. I was like, I don't fucking want to do this shit.
Yeah. It happens, right?
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
I want to go home. I was like, I go to the gym. I don't want to deal with this shit. Like my mom was in a car accident. It was like, I just don't want to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you think about it, and it's like there's people that would love to have this job,
Yeah.
or even if it was another job, people would love to have a freaking job.
Yeah.
Period. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in a funky mood, and all I do is freaking have to sit here and talk.
Yeah.
So you drink some coffee, put on your fake smile,
Yeah.
because when you're on the radio, you don't want to just be talking like this. Like, you do kind of have to, like, prop yourself up a little bit, kind of have to put on a fake smile so you sound a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just be like, y'all, I'm having a trash-ass day, because I
Yeah.
can say trash and bitch on the radio.
Okay.
So I utilize that.
She got like a list of words.
Yeah,
I can say that.
those are the only 2 I really care about. Like, when I found out I could say bitch on the radio, every single time I play the Baby Suge or the one with Offset, like right when he says bitch, like I say it in like within the song. It's great, and my boss loves it.
That's dope. Nah, but I just asked that because, you know, whether you're in radio, whatever you do,
It's like a normal job.
you're gonna have days when you're just like not feeling it, and you just gotta show up and perform.
I was literally hung over on Saturday, throwing up outside the studio door in the garbage can and going back in and doing my breaks. Like,
Dedication.
it's a normal. People don't realize it. It's a normal job.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you're sick, you're tired, you're cranky, you sound pissed off, you might have a cracked voice. Like, you just have to do it.
I love
I
it.
feel you.
I love
So
it.
he brought up some of the high profile people you interview or whatever, and you met.
Yeah.
So how do you like prepare for like those type of interviews? Is there like a different preparation that goes into it, or is it just like
No, it's just actually easier. I didn't fan out when I met Mano. It was just like, damn, I'm about to meet Mano. This shit's lit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah. It's
super
like
excited
excitement.
because I freaking
Yeah.
love Mano.
Mhm.
And it's honestly not that hard. You just watch a bunch of old damn interviews.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, if they have music, listen to their most recent songs so you're
Yeah.
not that person that, you know what I mean? Or at least be honest
Yeah.
about it. But they feel, you can tell in their, like, no shade, but the Breakfast Club interviews or Hot 97,
Yeah.
they're insulted when
Oh, yeah.
they just drop the song. They're here to promote their stuff, and all you know is their gossip.
Yeah,
You didn't even listen to the damn song. It's like 3 minutes long. What's the
Yeah.
excuse? You know what I mean?
Just
So,
read the track list.
yeah, like, honestly, just typing in whoever, if it's a high-profile person, type
Yeah.
in some of the interviews, watch them.
Yeah.
They have music. You know, do a quick rundown of their songs.
Yeah.
And then try not to ask questions that they've already been asked 50 million times and,
Exactly.
like, take note of that. And even if there is a question that you want to ask it, but ask it in a different way. Like, hey, I saw you say da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I was wondering, because sometimes these interviews, they be fucking up. You know, like, they'll be getting ready to say something, and then people won't, like, continue on that path. And then you're sitting here, like, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that, like, those are moments where you can be like, okay, they have talked about this. They're all right with talking about that. So you bring that up so that way they know you're not just asking them the same dumbass question,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
spin it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I asked Mano, I was like, what do you aspire to see in your future wife? And I don't mean in terms of looks. I mean, like, attributes. He was like, that's nice. Like, he didn't know what to do. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like he was like startled. You know what I mean?
But that's a great feeling too when you ask that question that has them like, oh shit.
And I was
gotta
like-
actually think about this for a second.
I think I've seen that too. I
Yeah.
think yeah. It's
a good question.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, it's like asking basic questions that, you know, people that may not know them want to know, but also just following up on, like, other things, like getting more creative. And then with people, when they're, like, more mainstream, they really do get sick about talking about the gossip. So
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
talk to them about them, if you can, like, I used to do this all the time with artists out here. I would listen to their music, and then I would find really deep lyrics, and then I would ask them about it, and they would be like, you know what I mean?
I love those.
So
Get
it's
the
like,
real.
yeah,
Yeah.
just getting the real. Like, I feel like a lot of people like to do popcorn interviews, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's cute, but, you know, at least make it fun if that's how
Yeah.
it's going to be, you know?
Have a conversation, man.
Yeah.
Like have a
For
real
real.
conversation.
Yeah.
That's what it's
You know.
about, man.
That's really
And
what
I
it
think-
is.
Yeah, that's real. I like that though. Man, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. I feel like your journey's dope. I feel like a lot of people can relate to it.
I hope so.
You know,
Just an awkward black girl trying to make it.
hey, I do want to give you. We always give our guests a chance to kind of speak to some things that maybe they have. You got a lot of shit going on, so but like some things that they got coming on the horizon. Maybe things you want to announce. Obviously, the mixer.
When does this air?
Next week.
What day?
What is today? The 5th. So I don't know. What's a week from today?
12.
Okay.
Okay.
My math
Yeah.
is terrible.
Let me see. Saturday, I am having a Litmus day party and drink and brunch
Yes.
at Vu Lounge, and it's 6 of us. We are all melanated in different ways, so it's amazing. And we all do like 6 different things. It's like makeup artists and social media influencers
Yeah.
and marketing people and, you know, people that just work in advertising and podcasts. Like, it's like we all come together, but you typically would see us all together, like, just in different little places. But I don't know. I like it because if you follow all of us and then you look at the flyer, it's all 6 of us on the flyer. So it's kind of one of those moments
I'm
where
looking
it's
at
like,
it right now.
yeah, it's like, who knew that all these people knew each other? You know what I mean?
That's dope.
So it's just like a really dope vibe that we're creating, and it's for a good cause. We're taking lightly used clothes. We're
Yeah.
taking toys. You know, they're going to be donated. I can't remember the exact places that they're getting donated to, but they are in our post.
Okay.
You know, we're taking donations for tickets also. Like, so it's like, yeah, you buy your regular ticket, but if you go on Eventbrite, you can also, like, donate to the charities that we're working with. But it's just going to be a good vibe. Like, I
dope.
mean,
Yeah. That
it's
sounds
the
lit.
end of the year, going into a new
Yeah.
decade. Bring
Hell
it in the
yeah.
right way.
2019 was a great year, man.
And if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
we're working with Remy Martin, so it's gonna be some
Oh,
good
okay.
drinks up in
There
there.
you
Yeah,
You
yeah.
There's
know.
you know, people waiting for that one. Like,
Yeah.
so about the alcohol.
Yeah, there's drinks.
So that's Saturday, December 14th.
Yes.
At View Lounge.
Yes,
Make sure y'all pull
2 to
up.
7.
Okay. Make sure y'all pull up. And then obviously Seattle Media Mixer is probably coming.
Yes, that's
very
gonna come
soon.
back in January. I gotta like find another venue that I really want to work with. I love Amber. I just don't really think it suits what we're doing.
Okay.
You know, just the layout is so bulky
Yeah.
to where it's like, don't get me wrong, people will grab their chairs and
Yeah.
they create their own little
Yeah.
audience
Yeah,
area.
the layout is very unique. It's like
yeah. Like I look up and I'm like, okay, say less, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to find like a new venue that makes more sense for what we're doing.
That's dope.
But I don't want it to be too far out of the way. Like Amber was perfect because it's just right there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So finding a new venue, making sure I get my panelists, and just bringing back to Besa podcast in January.
Yeah,
I kind of
nice.
wanted to revamp it. I felt like it was getting a little, no shade, but it was getting a little breakfast clubby to where I was just bringing on everybody because everybody was like, hey, I want to interview.
Yeah.
And it was when I was first starting, so I felt bad to say
Yeah.
now. And now I'm like, yo, I got enough stuff to already edit.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I
feel you.
mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like no shade,
Yeah.
but I'm tired right now.
Yeah.
I need to make this make sense. And it's not that I don't want people to come on my podcast right now, but I need for people to have a reason to be listening and
Yeah.
not just feeling like, oh, it's just a hodgepodge of people and she just has them
Yeah.
tell their story.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of wanted to make a little bit more sense than what it does right now.
I like that though. That's intentionality, which a lot of people sometimes they just go through the motions. They
Yeah.
just like doing the act. They're not really like reflecting on how they're doing it, how it's
Exactly.
progressing. So that's dope.
And it's just me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's, I feel like when you have a podcast and it's just you, it's a little bit different. You know, you guys can bounce off of each other
Yeah.
and your guest,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just do a podcast on your own. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I'm doing a podcast on my own, it's usually a rant.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just a different feel. Like if
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a podcast by myself, I might as well do a YouTube video at that point.
Right.
So it's just trying to make it make sense to where people actually see it as a podcast
Gotcha.
and not just as, oh, she's just interviewing a bunch of goddamn people.
Yeah, I like that. I love
Yeah.
it. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Now, we always ask this question to all our guests to kind of cap off what we discussed and also just to kind of cast what's ahead. Obviously, you got a lot coming. So if you can, what is one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up? And you can kind of explain it if you like
Yeah.
to.
Can elaborate.
You know, it's not really one word, but it's not being complacent. I'm never really comfortable. I'm never really satisfied. I'll do something and I'm like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? So it makes it to where I never pause. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. I when I had the overnights and then I had my Sundays, everybody was like, that's great. And I was like, it's great, but now I want my weekday slot. You know what I mean? Because at first I was like, oh, I at least want overnights. And then I got that. And then it was like, okay, I got that. Now I need weekends.
Yeah.
So that way I can start being heard during the day and start working on that stuff because daytime talking is way different than overnight talking, right? And then you just have like different rules. Like you can't cuss during the day. I mean, you can, but it's a little different. And
It's too early for all that.
yeah, like it's just always I'm never satisfied. I always want something more, and my goals, once I get them, they come so just, I don't know, like naturally that I guess you're right, it doesn't really smack me. It's kind of like, okay, I'm here now. Now what's next?
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm just always like, what's next? I'm just never like, okay, I can relax. Like I'm never
Comfortable, yeah.
relaxed
Yeah.
ever.
That's great. I like that.
Dope, yeah.
That's how you gotta be, man. You know, I feel like
Yeah,
if you do it long enough, it's just a habit.
Yeah.
It's just a way of life.
And then I get
something.
bored, and then I gotta find something else to do, and now I gotta like, okay, now I'm bored. Like at some point, I'm probably gonna want to be a music director, and then eventually that's going to be boring, and then I'll want
universe
to
is
be
listening.
like
Universe is listening.
But that's just like the path, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like if I stay here for too long, I will get bored of being radio, and then I'll want to do like music director unless I'm just getting so many endorsements to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it just kind of depends on how things weigh out.
Yeah.
You know, eventually I'm gonna want to leave here. I might want to come back.
Good space to be in
Yeah.
when you start thinking about other options that
Yeah.
may potentially arise. So that's dope, man. So we'll go with non-complacent.
Yeah.
Non-complacent.
There we go.
That's the first time we got
Yeah,
that word too.
yeah,
I like
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it. I love it.
Take it.
So yeah, but aside from that, man, thank you for first of all pulling up to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I know
Yeah,
you're busy.
for
You
real.
got a lot going
Appreciate
on. As well, thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank
right,
you.
Mondays through Saturdays, 93.3. KUBE 93, right?
KUBE 93.3.
Turn your dials.
Yeah.
I know she's just like correcting me on that, man.
It's a habit.
Yeah,
I can't help it. Because everyone
gotta
says
hold it
KUBE
down.
93, and
I
we're
know.
like, no, we added an extra point and a 3 in there.
There you go. But yeah, catch her Monday through Saturdays as well. Seattle Media Mixer as well. The Litmus? I don't want to mispronounce the name of the event. The Litmus.
Oh, Litmus.
Litmus. Okay.
Yeah, it's our Christmas.
I like that.
Rather than Christmas, it's Litmus.
Yep.
Lady Melman.
December
Yeah.
14th, Saturday. Make sure you pull up. And outside of that, much success to you moving forward. Obviously, you got support from us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Whole
For
team.
sure.
You guys too. You guys are doing great shit.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate that. And with that said, I think it's safe to say Besa is officially a member of the UpNUp. Can we get a round of applause?
Yeah.
Yeah.